What's up, Reitannites and fans and newcomers who are just coming by this video because it had a controversial title? I am Reitanna Seishin. I am 26 years old and I am a biological female. I am cisgender and pansexual. Because I am a woman, I have grown up to believe that men are filthy, dirty, cheaters, and liars, and that women are better, women are smarter, women are sweet and nice, and men are not. Why have I grown up this way? Well, basically, society is what makes us grow up this way. Us girls grew up thinking that, and let me quote something from the Rugrats, that girls are good and boys are bad, nasty babies. Why is that? Why do we have that? It only took me some growing up to realize that there really is no difference between a man and a woman, except for, certain body parts, certain chemicals within the body, and the fact that a man's body is able to reach a higher strength than women. Yes, we have our differences, but there's no reason to have this sexism, because what a lot of feminists don't understand is that sexism goes both ways. And, I had my fair share of, ew, boys, no, go away, oh my god, I hate guys, oh my god, boys are so stupid, why do men suck? And then it's like, fucking grow up and you're like, women suck too. Men aren't that bad, but what the hell is going on now? There's an episode of King of the Hill where Hank Hill goes to see a college professor because he found a fossil, and one of the students comes out of the classroom. She has big old boobs with a crop top shirt that says sexism and has a red circle and slash in front of it, right over her boobs. So automatically his eyes go to the word sexism, and she says, yeah, they're boobs, get over it. I'm sitting here going, you're pretty much asking for people to look at your breasts because you have the word sexism and, you have this big old thing on your shirt right across your boobage. What do you think is going to happen? That is an excuse to attract men's eyes to the breast just so you can have an excuse to chastise them. Now, really, even though that I grew up believing, I have a rat with me, so if I go, that's because, even though I grew up to believe that, girls were good and boys were bad, I still always had more guy friends than girlfriends, and I think it was because girls were just so bitchy. If you hear loud sounds in the background of this video, it's because there's a garbage truck now. Hello, garbage truck. I always got along better. I even had a tomboy phase at some point. I had mostly guy friends. I hung out with boys all the time, and it wasn't a physical attraction. There was never anything romantic about it. It was purely hanging out. And yeah, they grew up under the stereotypes too, so they would have their points where like, oh, well, it's because you're a girl, and girls can't do this, and blah, 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 girls. But guys found me refreshing because I thought a lot like them. I wasn't prissy. I wasn't, like, oh my god, because girls are like that all the time, especially when you're young and you're underdeveloped and you haven't gotten a chance to develop your own personality yet. Let's face it. When we're young, no matter what sex you are, we're all cookie cutters that society has made for us. We're all cookies made from suicide. Society's cookie cutters. Reitanna can speak. So every girl is like how society wants girls to be, and every boy is like how society wants boys to be. Now, long time ago, centuries ago, little boys and little girls wore the same clothes. Little boys wore dresses, little girls wore dresses. It wasn't a big deal. And if my memory serves correctly, it wasn't until about the 40s, was it the 40s or was it the 50s, that gender-specific clothing for children came out. And as fashion developed, so did children's fashion. And then, funnily enough, the toys were not gender specific either. I think I almost said Pacific. Toys were not, separated from girl toys to boy toys. In fact, the only reason why they were separated was to appeal to separate demographics to make more money. And originally, girl toys were supposed to be blue. The girl color was supposed to be blue, and the boy color was supposed to be pink. But instead, they switched it around. I don't remember what the reason was, but colors did not have, any gender specifications. And it's ridiculous that it does. Pink, pink is obviously a girly color. Like, oh my god, it's just, you got to be, like, so gay if you wear pink. Like, oh my god. And, why is it? Why is it a girly color? Because society says so. But it's not. It doesn't, no color is a girly color, and no color is a masculine color. It doesn't make any sense. You can be a completely straight guy and wear pink. You could be the most masculine, fucking, muscle-bound, football-loving, 32-pound steak-eating, manly man with just oodles of testosterone. Like, you have so much testosterone, you're almost on par with Chuck Norris, and you could wear pink, okay? Reitanna, you're just giving more men stereotypes. Well, we all have stereotypes for a reason. Now, society believes that men should be, unemotional, should never cry, should never show anything but strength and confidence and just manness. You are a man! The manly men! Eggs and steak and steaks and eggs. That's what we have for breakfast. And women are supposed to be dainty little fairies that just have nice, big, pretty eyes and beautiful hair and wear dresses and are just so weak and helpless, and we just gotta look to our men and say, I don't know where I'd be without you. Now, obviously, the stereotypes of women are mocked by radical feminists. I'm not gonna say just feminists because there are good feminists out there. Unfortunately, the term feminist has been ruined by the radical feminists. We're gonna call them feminazis, as they are, regularly known as by the internet. Feminazis. Oh, yes. They make fun of the fact that, they're all like, oh, what? Well, men think that we just stay in the kitchen and cook and have babies and that we're supposed to be, like, dainty and we can't be strong and that we cry all the time. And if you cry, you're a little girl. And, like, and we're supposed to just be all like, oh, I don't know what I'd be without my man, But think about it. Aren't you just being just as bad as any sexist man out there? I mean, yes, we are a feminine sex. That's because we have estrogen. Estrogen makes us feminine. We are women, we are females, and that is what makes us feminine. A lot of us like to look pretty. A lot of us do, look up to our men, for those of us who are in heterosexual relationships. A lot of us will admit that we need our man, but you know what? Our man will also admit that he needs their woman, So, stereotypes go both ways, and stereotypes are stereotypes because a large group of people made those stereotypes true. I mean, if you think about it, obviously not all Asians are fantastic at math, But the reason why that's a stereotype is because in Asian countries, it's very heavy on not just mathematics, but very heavy on the education that, children receive. So when they come over to stupid America, they seem like they're just so smart at math. Like that. Why do we center on math? Math, man, and they're bad drivers. Now I don't know where that stereotype comes from. So if somebody knows the history behind that stereotype, I also don't know where the stereotype comes from that black people like watermelon and fried chicken. Like, I can't even think of any logic behind that. But there's a stereotype behind black people that they all are poor and uneducated. Why? Because, well, long time ago, Americans, white people, were even more racist than they are now. So we decided that we didn't want to give them any rights, so they had no choice but to be put in bad neighborhoods and couldn't get proper education. That's our fault. All these things are our fault, and the fact that sexism and racism still exists is a huge problem, and we just keep bringing it up. Now, 'tis March, and March is National Women's History Month. Let's go throughout the months to see which ones are dedicated to certain groups of people. In January, there's none. In February, you have Black History Month. In March, you have National Women's History Month, estrogen. In April, there's nothing. In May, there's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I've never heard of that. I'm a stupid American. June is nothing. July is nothing. August is nothing. September is National Hispanic Heritage Month. October is nothing. November is American Indian Heritage Month. And December is nothing. Do we see a Men's National History Month on there? No. But they're like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 months available. Now, it was March 4th? That was, International Women's Day? Apparently, on November 19th is, International Men's Day. So at least they have an International Men's Day, but why don't they have a history month? Men have history. Women have history. Everybody has history. And it's like one of those things where you say, why isn't there a White History Month? Because that sounds racist. Why does it sound racist? Because our ancestors were fucking racists. The horrible racists. Our history is not pretty because of how our ancestors treated other people. Listen, there were men oppressing women. There were men oppressing, there were white people oppressing black people. But that's over. They're dead now. Women aren't oppressed anymore. There are some things that women don't have, that are equal to men, but now there are some things that that women have over men. Now, the only reason why in some jobs women get paid less than a man is because men can usually do more physical work, like lifting heavy shit. When I worked at Walgreens, I tried to, my manager asked me to help him move some huge boxes of beer. I was sitting there dragging it by the floor because I can't lift that thing. I was like, I need a man. This is a man's job. Because it's true. I believe, biologically speaking, men's muscles are genetically superior in that area. Now, I'm not saying that women cannot be strong. Women can absolutely be strong. Look at the, female wrestlers in WWE. You wouldn't want to come across them in a dark alley trying to mug them or worse because they will fucking kick your ass because they are strong. You know, women's wrestlers, female wrestlers are no longer just supermodels who come out and fight each other, grab each other by the hair, wearing skimpy outfits. No, they still wear skimpy outfits, but now they got fucking talent. And we know what happens to female wrestlers who don't have fucking talent and are just pretty little faces. We get people like Eva Marie and the Bella Twins, who aren't talented at all. Eva Marie's even worse than the Bella Twins. But then, when you have female wrestlers, you get people like Sasha Banks, you get Bayley, you get, well, we had Lita, you know, we had, Trish Stratus, you know, any woman that has actually done something, and even the women who came from modeling backgrounds, but actually was able to express talent. You know, there are women who lift weights, who get strong, who do these things, who box, who wrestle, who just go out with these types of sports that long time ago, men were all like, women can't do that, because men talked like that. But the thing is it often takes a little more effort because of our biology to get strong like that. Biologically, we weren't exactly made to handle that. Hang on, I'm gonna put my rat back. So yeah, to feminazis, it might seem like, you know, oh, women aren't getting paid as much as men. Well, it's because we're doing different jobs. Unless you're doing the same exact amount of work as another coworker that is male, and you're not being paid as much, you know, and you gotta factor into everything. How long has your male coworker been with the company? How, what is his actual, like, position? Even though you're doing the same jobs, you know, you might not be in the same position. For instance, like, my experience at Walgreens, you may be a cashier, you may be on the floor, and, you know, if you're, it doesn't matter if you're an employee, a shift manager, an assistant manager, or the manager. You're going to be anywhere. Now, obviously, the assistant manager and the manager is going to get paid more. And the shift lead, it's not shift manager, it's shift lead. The shift lead is going to get paid more as well. But, you know, technically, if a female and a male is still, you know, it's an over around equal company, is still doing the same amount of work, unless you really cannot, then you have to put into all these other factors, why are they getting paid more than you? And if there is no other difference, if you have been there for the exact same amount of time, you know, if you're on the exact same level, if they're not at a promoted level, and you're doing the same exact amount of work, you know, carrying stuff and everything, and you're still getting paid less, that is something you might want to think about. That's a problem. But automatically assuming that, oh, our company doesn't value women because I'm, like, totally getting paid less than this man I know. Well, is he a shift lead? Well, actually, he's, like, an assistant manager. And how long has he been in the company? I think it's been like 7 years. How long have you been with the company? Well, I've been here for like 2 years, but I think I do a lot of work. So it's you gotta think about these things. It's not always discrimination. You just pretend it's discrimination because you are one of those sheep, female sheep, who have decided that men are dominant. Now, of course, they're dominant by nature. That's the testosterone. But you see, both men, I can speak, men and women have both estrogen and testosterone. Men usually have more testosterone than women. Women have more estrogen than men. But we both have the same chemicals inside of us, just at different levels. Now, some women are born with more testosterone. Some men are born with more estrogen. You know, it's just how biology decides that you're gonna come out. And that's not a problem. That, you know, a man born with more estrogen might be more effeminate. But society says that that's not okay, because if you're a man, okay, if you're a man and you're effeminate, if you cry, if you show emotion, if you whine about anything, you are either a little baby or you're a little itty bitty little girl. Society has taught you guys that, and that's why you guys always seem so ashamed to cry. Whenever my boyfriend is feeling upset and he looks like he's about to cry, he lets himself cry because he is what society would call sensitive. But we're all sensitive. We all should be sensitive. He is doing the right thing by allowing himself to cry because he's smart and he knows that after he cries, he will feel better. And I always encourage him to let it out. He always encourages me to cry, but even though I'm a woman and I am a very emotional person due to my mental illnesses and upbringing and, you know, naturing and nurturing everything, I am ashamed to cry. But I shouldn't be. There's no reason anyone should be ashamed to cry. But society has taught us that we cannot feel emotion, and men definitely can't feel emotion. It's like when Matthew Santoro put out his video about his abuse story. Oh, men can't be abused. Men can't be, you know, hit. Men can't cry. He was crying on his video, and you see in the comments, you see compassionate people who understand. Then you see the sheep who are like, what the fuck are you crying about, you Gaylord? You know? And you know, oh, men can't be abused, men can't be raped, are you fucking kidding me? You know, even though there are less accounts of women raping men, it happens, and women abuse men all the time. My maternal figure, Erin, you know, she's the one who would start the fights. She was the one who would start it. And here's the thing. If a woman hits a man, it's okay. But if a man hits a woman, oh no! Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh my god, you're going to jail, man! Seriously. Like, if I'm a woman, okay? And if I hit a guy, I expect him to hit me back. Probably as hard, if not harder. Okay, what do you expect? If two guys get in a fight, they're gonna retaliate, and it's either for defense or just to, you know, get them to stop freaking hitting you. So what is a man supposed to do when his woman hits him? Is he just supposed to sit there and take it? And cower? What if this woman is fucking strong? Because it happens. What if this woman is fucking crazy? Erin was fucking crazy, okay? And I am so glad that I am not as crazy as her. I'm crazy, but I'm not as crazy as her. Man, I am not strong. So anytime I try to, when I'm having my attacks, if I try to hit Michael, he easily stops me. But he doesn't have to defend himself by hitting me, because I can't do that to him. But if a woman is sitting there wailing on this guy, and he's getting bruised and bloody and beaten up, it's not because he is weak, it's because, by law, he cannot defend himself. And that's messed up. That is so messed up. A man should be able to hit a woman if the woman is hitting him. And what makes a woman so able to hit a man if he doesn't even do anything wrong? So if a man hits a woman for not doing anything wrong, is he hitting her because she's a woman? No. Like, either way, is she hitting him because he's a man? Probably, because she knows she can get away with it, but he can't. And that builds up a lot of frustration to the point where they can break. If a woman wasn't allowed to hit anybody, yeah, she would fucking go crazy. I mean, I'm sitting here with a lot of violent urges myself, and guys, for those of you who have violent urges and have to hold them back, you know what it's like to go, God damn it, I really wish there was just a room full of glass things that I could shatter without consequence. You know, you want to destroy things because we don't get the opportunity to destroy things because it's wrong. Because we get consequences. We get in trouble. But men should not get in trouble for hitting a woman unless he is hitting her because she's a woman. And it's the same thing with quote-unquote minorities, aka anybody who's not white. So if a black guy hits a black guy, it's just violence. If a white guy hits a white guy, it's just violence. If a white guy hits a black guy, it's a hate crime. If a black guy hits a white guy, it's just violence, you know? But, well, not just violence, actually, because we still have racism. So, yeah, the black guy is gonna get penalized worse because he's black, because racism. But the white guy's gonna get charged on a hate crime because he hit a black guy. So the black guy can charge him for a hate crime even if the white guy wasn't hitting him because he's black. You know, what if the black guy was hitting the white guy because he's white? Because racism also goes multiple ways. Is that white guy going to charge the black guy for hate crime? Well, the judge will probably laugh at that white guy because apparently it's not racist because white people aren't considered a race because we're dominant for some reason. And if I say any of this shit, even though I am obviously supporting us as a human race, because I'm white, everything I say sounds racist. Everything I say. And because I'm a woman, I probably sound, you know, at some points, I probably sound like I'm still conditioned by society to believe men are a certain way. That actually might be partly true, even though I will stand next to my man, and there are certain things that I think that are really messed up that that women have over men. There's still that residual conditioning, because that's how you grow up. And when you grow up, once you're past the point where your brain is done developing, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't undo that conditioning. There's a period of, oh crap, what's it called? Well, there's a certain period of time in a human being's life where they can no longer learn new things and retain them as easily as they could before. And I don't remember exactly what it was called. But that's the whole reason why I can't wake people up. I can't talk on the phone. I basically can't do anything without asking. And no matter what, no matter how many times people say, you can wake me up, you know, you can do this and that, you know, I can't, because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Because I grew up, and whenever I did something like wake somebody up or talk on the phone, I would get hit. So, yeah, that's kind of a, you know, if you hit a dog for peeing on the rug, he's eventually gonna learn how to not pee on the rug because he will fear the hand that is supposed to love him. Now, another thing I have that's a problem. Oh, women, aren't we just the best? You see, if a man pisses us off, we can actually claim rape on that man, even if he has never touched us. Whether we were in a romantic relationship or it was friendship or whatever, he has never laid a hand on us, and we can claim rape. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, the judge is going to believe us because we know how to cry and put on just a pathetic face, and oh my god, it was so horrible. Yeah. And the man's sitting there like, I didn't even fucking touch her! What the she's lying! Who are you gonna believe? The innocent little girl who's helpless and can't fight back? Or the man with the muscles and he's taller than her and he's sitting there angry because she's fucking lying, whereas it looks like he's angry because he got caught, even though he didn't do anything. And that guy goes to jail. And now he has a sexual assault, thing on his permanent record. And now he's going to be basically known as a rapist. That shit follows you. You can't run away from that shit. And then there's another thing. Let's make up a scenario here. You have a family with a husband and a wife and a child. Well, the marriage is unhappy, and they fight constantly, and they argue, and she hits him, and she hits him. Oh, but she's also hitting the child. Oh no, the man has never laid a hand on the child. The man loves his child. He wants to take the child and get as far away from this crazy bitch as possible. But unfortunately, without the proper paperwork, that is kidnapping. So, in order to go through a divorce, you need to do all this paperwork and shit. Obviously, a divorce would be mutual, but then there's the custody issue. Who gets the kid? Well, even after the divorce, the kid has equal time between parents. They spend time with the mother somewhere and they spend time with the father somewhere. Well, the mother is hitting her child, and he's got all these bruises. So when they go to court for the custody battle, the woman demands that she wants her child, and the man says, she's violent, she's hit me, she's hit our son, daughter, and I really think it would be in his or her best interest if they went with me. And he's sitting there, and he's under 13, and he's sitting there, I don't want to go with mommy. I don't want to go with mommy. Mommy hits me. I want to go with daddy. Because he's 13, he doesn't get a say in the matter. Or because he's not 13, he doesn't get a say in the matter. And all the woman has to say is, he's lying, and he's threatened our son to lie for him. He's been the one who's been abusing our child, And then she can make up that he's hit her. So the court always rules in the mother's favor. Isn't that interesting? It's messed up. It's really, really, really messed up. We have these double standards where all of a sudden a majority of women are thinking that they should be punishing this, the men who live now for things that our ancestors did hundreds of years ago. It doesn't seem like that long ago, when women were still being oppressed, but it's still in the history, and we should leave history in the past where it belongs. And I'm not just talking about sexism, I'm talking about racism and homophobia. I think that we shouldn't have a Black History Month. We shouldn't have International Men's or Women's Month. We shouldn't have Hispanic Month. We shouldn't have any of that. Every single month should be about everyone. Why do we have to be different? Why does society believe that we all should be different, that some of us should be special and some of us shouldn't? And from my point of view, that's just another white person complaining that Black people and Hispanic people and Asian people have, all these special months that white people don't. But that's not it. I'm not saying that white people should have a month to themselves. I'm saying that nobody should have a month. Not women, not men, no matter what coloration your skin is, because we are not different races. It's not the white race. It's not the Black race. We are all the human race. We just like a cat or a dog or a rat or a snake. We have different colorations in our skin. That's it. That's it. There's nothing different about us. We all bleed red. We all have, we are all the same on the inside. Just because we are colored differently or we have different genitalia, it does not mean that we should be treated specially. Now, with the whole homophobic thing, we can still blame religion on that. And religion should have been abolished years ago. We should have stood up and said, well, hang on. This is causing problems, so let's get rid of it. I mean, we decided that racism was a problem, so we've tried to get rid of it. It doesn't work. Want to know why? Because you keep bringing history back. Sexism, we decided, was a problem. Why? Because we keep trying to fix it, and we've shifted the sexism. It's like one of those brass scales where before more blocks were in the men's side of the scale. So the men were, being weighed down, taking the majority of the weight, and the women are up here, not important. But now the blocks have been moved to the women's scale, and now the women are important and the men aren't. How is that? How? If you have ever used Tumblr in your entire life, or if you are smart and stay away from Tumblr, but you have seen other people talk about Tumblr, you know that that is the cesspool of the surface web. It is the anus, whereas Facebook is the butt crack. We see women going on saying that white males do not have any rights. Men are not allowed to accomplish anything because they have a pink cock in the middle of their legs. They cannot accomplish anything because women should be the ones who are accomplishing things. If you're a man, do not walk behind a woman, especially if it's dark at like 3 a.m. Okay, if you walk behind a woman, she's going to think that you are stalking her. Do not walk faster to pass her, okay? And do not walk slowly to distance away from her. Just don't walk behind her, okay? Because she will think, and if you cross the street, she'll think that you're just stalking from far away. Men aren't allowed to do normal things. And women are just as capable as stalking as men are. Women are fucking crazy. Alright? Women are just as capable of doing bad things as men are. Yes, there are more accounts of male serial killers, killers in general, male rapists, male this and that and that and this. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I think it also has to do with the levels of testosterone. Don't quote me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. If somebody knows the bare facts of why the percentage of males versus females in crimes is higher, please educate me on that, because I do not know. And a source would be reliable also, so I'm not just taking word of mouth. I could believe anything that anybody says, well, actually, this, and this, and this, but if you don't have a source to back it up, I can't say that it's fact. So, and you can't say that it's fact. That's why whenever I'm not sure if something's fact, I say, don't quote me. Correct me. I might be wrong. Because guess what? Women can be wrong. And feminazis are ruining everything for men. Now, I don't know about other countries. I know there are a lot of countries that are still have really backward beliefs, where women have no rights, where it's way worse. But, America should know better because we're America. And now that we're Trumpica, we should know even better, right? Because he's making America Trumpica better. He's making it better. You gotta grab women by the pussy, right? Right? Have sex with my daughter, right? Right? Everything's going to shit. This country was already at the dogs. Now the dogs have eaten it and they are shitting it back up. How long before they eat the shit that they have shat out? And I feel sorry for men. Mike's best friend Justin is in a very unhappy relationship with his wife, and the only reason why he's still with her is because they have 2 children with special needs. When he got her pregnant the second time, we were just like, oh, why? What? You wanted to... What are you doing? She's a crazy ass bitch. And I've offered to fuck her up for him, but she's also black. And for a second, it actually took me a second for when Michael said, you can't go fuck her up because she's black. And I'm like, why does that matter? And he says, because it would be a hate crime. And it took me a second to go, oh, God damn, because I'm fucking white, right? Yup. But poor Justin, he loves his kids. He wants to do everything for his kids. She is a horrible influence on these kids. She's feeding them stuff she shouldn't be feeding them, and she's not giving them the attention that they need. And Justin is trying his hardest to provide for these two mentally disabled kids of his that he loves so much, that he wants, is making sure that they have the right nutrition, he wants to have these kids. He wants to get divorced, and he wants to have these kids. Now, this woman prevents him from seeing his friends. He's not allowed to come over to see us because he has friends and she doesn't. The only time he's ever allowed to come over is for WrestleMania, and that happens once a year, and we don't even know if he's going to be able to make it this year. And even then, she calls him constantly, orders him around, and I told him straight up, I'm like, you are the man, okay? And she's the woman. You need to take her and you need to whip her into shape. What is wrong with you? But he is very submissive, and he has problems saying no, and he has problems sticking up for himself. And I have to say that might not just be because of his personality, but that might be because of social conditioning. And if you have a dominant woman and a submissive man, in this world where women get more rights, yeah, there's gonna be some issues. There's gonna be some problems where he's not allowed to put her in her place. I love my man. I stick by my man. I love my man because he's my man and I'm his woman. I am his woman. I am his. I belong to him. Women aren't objects, okay? I am his woman. He can say, this is my woman. I could say, this is my man. He is my man. I will do anything for my man. And in return, he does anything for his woman. And I like being dominated. I've always been submissive. That's why when I was in a same-sex relationship with Ruth, it was lucky because I was naturally submissive and she was naturally dominant. So I was obviously, the skirt in the relationship. Especially since she didn't like wearing skirts. So I like to be dominated. I know not a lot of women like that. I know some women don't. Some women like to be abused. They purposefully get themselves into abusive relationships, but Michael isn't like that. Michael is very, very down to earth. He's a very caring and compassionate man. He has absolutely no mental problems, which is probably the only reason why we've been together for over 7 years. Because with how crazy I am, with how much of a burden I've been on him, he would have left me long time ago. And when I'm off my medication, my mind starts to whisper little things like, oh, he doesn't really want to be with you. He's going to leave you. He's just being, he's just with you because if you commit suicide, he's going to feel responsible and he doesn't want to be blamed by everybody, blah, 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 blah. And then I have these bad dreams about this different version of Michael who's a combination of all of my bad relationships and my fears of what Michael could have been. And then I wake up in the morning and I look into his eyes and I go, oh, this is my man. And I like it, like when he calls me his woman. And when he says, you're my woman, you do as I say, because it's kind of a joke, because he doesn't order me around. In fact, sometimes he does things for me that I say, I can do that myself, right? And he's like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm like, honey, if I ask you to get something for me, you can say no, you can say no. And if he's going to the store and I ask him to get me something, he says, I'll see what I can do, or I'll think about it. But I know that always means yes. Unless the store doesn't have it, that always means yes. And I've told him multiple times I can do things on my own, And, you can ask me to do things and, you can ask for my help. You don't have to do everything by yourself. I may be a very dependent person. I'm very dependent on you. But if I ask you to get me a glass of water, you can say, can't you get it yourself? The only time when I shouldn't be able to get it myself is when my sleepy meds have kicked in and I cannot get up. Because for any of you who take any sleeping medication, you know that if you get up, it starts to wear off or it starts to make you dizzy and it starts to make you sick. The last time I had to get up and go to the bathroom while my sleepy meds were in my system, I couldn't see anything. I had to be like, Michael, can you walk me to the bathroom? And I honestly felt like I was going to throw up, because it makes your body lethargic. It takes it to that wonderful sleep land, which isn't so wonderful for me during nightmare season. It is still nightmare season. If you guys don't know what that is, it's I explained it in my last dream journal. It's what I call, cause I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. So anybody who suffers from PTSD knows that you have very long periods of time where every night is a nightmare. And it's not like ghosties or monsters or anything. No, they play on your fears. They play on what traumatized you in the first place, and they are much worse than quote-unquote nightmares. So I'll have these for months at a time, and then I have a little break where all of my dreams are either just really weird, they're quote-unquote normal nightmares with ghosties and monsters, and they don't really bug me, and or they're just good dreams, but it's a much shorter period of time than my nightmares. So I have dubbed that nightmare season. That's my confetti. Or no, that's my party favor. So, you know, and if Mike and I were walking around, and you know, and if some chick came up to him and like started bad mouthing him, I would stand up for my man. I would stand up for any man. You know, if he did nothing wrong, if you're just fucking attacking him because he's male, because he has a penis and balls, there's a problem. Okay? Listen, we have a penis too, and we also have balls, except our penis is very small and undeveloped, and it goes by the term clitoris. Our balls are inside our bodies, and they go by the term ovaries. We're not any different. In fact, technically, these men that you feminazis hate so much were female before their chromosomes decided that they were going to be male. Alright? Yeah. So fuck you. Oh, and then some of you girls, okay? Because if you're older, alright, then back when you were born, it wasn't exactly quote-unquote normal for people to be intersex, okay? So for all you know, your parents had never told you that you might have been born with two parts. You could have been born with a vagina and testicles. You could have been born with a penis and ovaries. You could have been born with a penis and a vagina. And your family never told you. Instead, they told the doctor to get rid of one because they wanted a certain sex, because they thought it was weird. Some parents, okay, if they know their child, and when they get over to be mature enough, older, and to be mature enough, Reitanna English, it's horrible, they can say, hey, you know what, this is how you were born, and you know, because of the way things were, we might have made the mistake by, you know, choosing your sex for you, you know, choosing your gender for you. And that, for the child, it could either be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It could cause many problems if they think they're female and their mind is male, you know, that could cause problems. So, you know, and then, for the parents who are like, oh no, we can't tell them, they'll never forgive us, they'll freak out, they will never talk to us again. The fear, because of their generation, means that you don't know. You don't know if you were born intersex. So if you're a female and you have those type of parents, just wonder for a second. Just wonder. And you could ask them about it. It'd probably be a pretty awkward question. Or, you know, I don't know how birth certificates on intersex children work, you know. For me, I'm pretty sure I'm a girl. I'm almost positive I'm a girl. I have no masculine physical traits, and usually when women are born with the more testosterone, which having both parts will give you more testosterone, you have an overabundance of body hair. You have, say, like, if you were still born with the clitoris, it would be larger and misshapen. It would, your parts would still be problematic in certain ways. Your muscles would develop differently. Your voice would be different. I have none of those things, so, I mean, I've never asked my father if I am biologically female, but I'm pretty sure I am. So, and I don't really have contact with my father right now. I'm pretty sure my grandma would know. I could ask her. I'd just be like, just out of curiosity, was I born a female? She'd probably look at me really weird, but, at this point, because I am a female and I'm comfortable in the female body, even though I do think a lot like a man, that's probably stems from, not caring what gender I'm sexually attracted to. I just happen to fall into a heterosexual relationship. I wouldn't really care. At least I'd know more about myself. But, and then, fuck, what was I gonna say next? I was gonna say something next. Oh, I remember. Now, one of the stereotypes is, about men, is that all men think about is sex. Sex, sex, sex. That's all they think about. Well, not only is that not true, but it has been scientifically proven that women think about sex just as often as men do. And this is generally speaking. I'm not including, people who are asexual or anything like that, because there are people who don't think about sex, who it just doesn't interest them. But the majority fact is that women are just as perverted as men. I think about sex all the fucking time. All the time! Mike and I are both heavy perverts. So he, he's perverted and I'm perverted. We're equal, I have more dirty dreams than he does. He tells me about his dirty dreams because they're so rare. And, and I have dirty dreams all the time, especially when it's not nightmare season. And, I think it just, I'm a Scorpio, so a lot of my, personality, and it's not me going, oh, I'm a Scorpio, so because of that, I think about sex. No, it's the fact that I think about sex, and it just so happens that when I looked up all the things about Scorpios, they also think about sex a lot. They're very sexual beings. It's really funny because a lot of people try to base their personality on their zodiac, but people like me have the personality, and when they read their zodiac for the very first time, they're all like, oh my God, this is about me! Some people are their zodiac. There is a reason why they have those attributes. But for people who, read their horoscope every day, I tried doing that once. It wasn't very accurate. I mean, it wasn't like in those magazines where all oh, Sagittarius will find love with a Pisces, and this year you should wear brown. No, it was actually a very philosophical horoscope app that did have very strong details. Some of it did help, but not all of it. It just kind of got tedious after a while, and instead I've just accepted, that Scorpios are Scorpios, and I'm like a Scorpio, and I am a Scorpio, and that's how my personality is, and that's it. We are very sexual beings, but we are also very loyal. So when it comes to us, when we are sexually active, when we are sexy, when we are sex, we do not, okay, there are many exceptions, because Erin was one. She was born on November 3rd, so she was a black Scorpio, just like I am. I'd like to think that honest Scorpios are like me, where they are loyal to the one person they're having sex with and they don't cheat on other people because sex is not something that should be used for pleasure alone. Okay? For people who are in a romantic relationship, who love each other and are in a romantic relationship, sex is a very, 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 very powerful tool to express that love to one another. Now, for asexual couples, or, couples not interested in sex, when they have an emotional relationship, they love each other very, 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 very much, but they're not interested in sex. But that doesn't change the fact that they love their significant other. However, if you are in a romantic relationship that is strictly physical, and you are not in love with the person at all, it's like sex is wrong if it doesn't involve love, but love isn't wrong if it doesn't involve sex, I think is the easiest way to put that in. Now, granted, I have an oxygen bubble stuck in my chest. Do you ever get that, where you have this unexplainable pain in your chest? It's an oxygen bubble. It's trapped. You have to pop it. And it takes a while for it to pop sometimes. That's what people talk about when they have a stitch in their side. Reitanna! Off topic! Sorry. So, I write a lot of erotic stories. And note this, just like with Muffins and any of my horror stories, authors do not support everything they write, okay? They write about it because it's for the sake of the story. Do you think that I support a group of crazy-ass bitches who have a taste for the flesh of their own kind? Do I support them murdering everybody? Do I support group murderers that eat people without their consent? Okay, the only time I support cannibalism is when they have the consent of the other person. And of course, that's still illegal. Now, cannibalism itself is not illegal, but killing and desecrating a body is. So even when you have the other person's consent, even when you eat part of yourself before, the guy kills you, it's still illegal. Reitanna, you're in favor of cannibalism? There's a certain part of cannibalism that technically is only taboo. But I'm talking about over here, killing people and cannibalizing them. Do I support what the Muffins characters do? No, I don't. I support their hatred for the world because that's, mainly my words coming out of them. And yes, they are expressing a lot of my violent fantasies that unfortunately I do not have control of. But the fact is that I am able to take those fantasies and push them onto fictional characters to take care of those urges for me so that I don't feel like I have to do it. And my medication also helps very much. Thankfully, even though I have a criminal mind, I am not a criminal. But the point is writers will write about killing, they'll write about rape. Usually when they detail a rape scene, really detail it, to me, that comes as a red flag. And I feel like people shouldn't do that, but that's just me because I've never been sexually abused, but because of my view on sex, it makes me physically ill, and I am not over-exaggerating on that one. But there's a but. I will not deny that I have written stories where the relationship starts out purely physical. But the significance is that I always turn it into, they love each other. In my novel, I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but in my novel, the relationship between one of the main characters and another one of the main characters is only physical. It's only sex. It's just sex. But there's a reason for it that one of them doesn't realize, but the other has realized all along. So, eventually it always comes down to love for me, because I can't just have fictional characters in a physical relationship without a loving conclusion. And, it's just men and women think about sex just equally, and let's face it, it's hard not to when our society revolves around sex. See, everything in the world is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power. Now, you can use that power for good, or you can use it for bad. Now, if you are in a physical relationship with one person or multiple that, you all know about each other, you're not cheating. You're not cheating. If there is no love, do what you want. Just don't do it dishonestly. Don't cheat. Don't lie to somebody. If you're in a relationship and you don't love them anymore, end it. Do not go sleep with somebody. And just end it. Polygamy is okay if it works. I don't know if it's, polygamy, oh god, what is the adjective form of polygamy? I have to look it up because I'm dumb. Of course, polygamous. If you're in a polygamous relationship, and I don't know if polygamous marriage is legal in the United States. I don't know anything about that because I'm not in a polygamous relationship. I've never had an interest in one, even though my dreams will sometimes pair me with two people. Michael is not interested in one. However, if I invite a sexy girl over to play around with, he just recommends that he's around to watch. Yes. But if you're in a not polygamist relationship, a polygamist is somebody who is in a polygamous relationship, and if it works, good for you. That kind of thing is taboo with society, but it's not wrong because you're not cheating, you're not being dishonest. As long as, everybody's getting their share of love and physical needs, what's the problem? However, if you're with multiple people who don't know about each other, or maybe you're with multiple people and they know about your wife or your girlfriend who doesn't know about them, that's a problem. You're using the power of sex very wrong, okay? When I started falling for Michael, I was working at Walgreens, and I was currently in a relationship with Ruth. Now, she had done some things that I was not happy with. She was smoking cigarettes, she was drinking even though she was underage, and there were many heavy clues that she was smoking pot. And eventually she admitted it to me, which was lucky because I was falling for Michael, and I would cry. I would cry every time I thought about him because I said, I can't cheat on Ruth. I can't cheat on Ruth. I'm not going to cheat on Ruth. How do I end it with somebody because I've fallen with somebody else? It was a huge dilemma because I've never cheated on anybody. I've always ended it if I needed to end it. But she gave me the perfect excuse. She messed up. So I didn't have to feel bad about it. I ended it with her, and I told Michael that I had ended it, and I think it was like a month later we were together, and the rest is history, It's really not that hard to end it with somebody you don't love. And it's really not that hard to not cheat on somebody when you love your significant other. It's really not that hard. If you love the person you're with and you have the urge to cheat, that's the moment where you gotta start questioning your love, because obviously you don't love them all that much. And women cheat just as much as men cheat, because women are whores, okay? If you ask me from just the things that I have looked at, just observing in our society, women cheat more than men. Why? Because they're women! And oh my god, look at my sexy body, don't you like it? Oh, if I flirt and press my boobs together, you'll just look at my cleavage and you'll give me anything I want because I'm hot. Little itty-bitty bitches. Little whores! And, also cheating happens more often when you haven't been together long enough and you get married. You can't marry somebody you've only been with for 1 or 2 years. That doesn't work. There's something called the honeymoon stage, and it happens to everybody. You are infatuated with this person, so you get together with them. Your infatuation is still in play, and you mistake that infatuation for love because they both feel exactly the same. So you say, this is my soulmate, this is the person that I want to be with forever. So you get married, and then you spend a few more years together, and that's when you find out whether it was infatuation or love. You hear about men talking about being a ball and chain. You hear men talking about marriage as if it's something that changes you. It's not marriage that changes you. It's your feelings between each other that changes, because you weren't together long enough. Michael's aunt and her husband were dating for 10 years before they got married. And they have been with each other happily ever since. Happily married. No trust issues, no interest in anybody else. They celebrate their every 10-year anniversary. I don't remember what he said. I think it was like their 40th anniversary. I don't remember. It's impressive. Now, Michael and I, we really want to get married, but there's the whole deal of the fact that we live in a shitty-ass apartment, and marriage doesn't always mean a ceremony. You can get legally married without having a ceremony. And when you're poor, that's usually the thing that you should turn to. But we've been together for over 7 months. 7 years? Sorry. Last September, it was 7 years, I believe. And, from the way things are going, we're tied down to our apartment due to a required lease by the new owner of the apartment. We had to sign a lease to stay here for 14 more months and have our rent raised up to $30 more when it's already about $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, shitty-ass small apartment. With broken lights, and a broken bathtub, and a broken door, and a broken everything. As opposed to not signing the lease and getting our rent raised $300. So we're stuck here at least 14 more months. And we're hoping to get the fuck out of here after that, because it's driving us nuts. This place is driving us nuts. His job is driving us nuts. My environment is driving me nuts, which is affecting my job. But we honestly can't get married until we move out together in a house, when we have a permanent thing that when we settle down. It's just not a smart decision until we do that to get married. When we do, of course, we'll be in a bit of a financial pickle, because America is not kind to people who want houses, despite the fact that anybody in any movie can just get up and move to any old big house, from one big house to the next with no problems. Oh, this is a beautiful house, but it's haunted, so we move to another beautiful house? Like, it's so easy. Oh my god, no, it's not. And buying a house in California, I hope you're a billionaire, because it's not that cheap. So we gotta get out. We're getting out, and we're gonna be so happy when we get out. If you've listened this far, please go to my official website. The link is in the description of pretty much every video, and please donate something to our Get the Fuck Out of California fund. I'd greatly appreciate it. I wanna thank King Spook again, if he's even listening to this, for his generous donation that I was definitely not expecting. Oh man, I still can't believe he watches my stuff. It's so amazing. I like get all starstruck when I see his comments. I'm like, oh my god, he watches my videos. Okay, anyway, enough gushing about having somebody who's practically internet famous watching my videos. Anyway, so when we get out, we're going to get married, but it's just going to be a legal marriage. We're not going to have a ceremony until we are ready to have a ceremony. Many things are more important than a stupid ceremony. Want to know why? Because wedding ceremonies are a scam, just like funeral ceremonies. So but we do want to have a nice ceremony. When I say nice, I mean, we're going to spend most of our money on the food, and it's not gonna be more, it's not even gonna go up to the thousands, okay? Like, weddings can cost, oh my god, tens of thousands of dollars. Why? Because you need a pretty dress that you're only gonna wear once. Because you need this cake with 24 karat gold frosting. And you need all these real roses and these real flowers that you know for a fact that you got ripped off on because they charged you the wedding price. Yeah, guess what? When you're having a wedding and you buy these decorations that could go for any other ceremony, like a birthday, they charge you more. No. I want a short dress that I will wear for multiple occasions. We want food. We definitely want food. We definitely want cake, but we're not going to get a wedding cake. We're probably going to get a birthday cake. We're probably going to say it's our birthday or something. We're not going to get an expensive diamond ring because diamonds are inherently worthless. Yeah, the diamond industry lies to you. Diamonds aren't all that rare, and they're only valuable because they put the value on them. So for all you girls who are like, oh my god, I want that rock. No, you don't, because guess there's an imaginary rule that the diamond industry has come up with. It's called at least 2 months' salary. No, wait, or is it 2 years' salary? Hang on. Here we go, okay. According to ehow.com, the engagement ring salary, this is just the engagement ring, not the wedding ring. The rule refers to gross monthly salary rather than net salary. If a man grosses $4,000 per month, he's expected to pay $8,000 for the ring, not $5,600, his net take-home pay for 2 months after deducing 30% for taxes. Okay, so yeah, it's 2 months' salary. This is a rule that the diamond industry has come up with just so that they can sell their rings at high prices. Do you know how people used to propose to each other? I think it was the 20s. "Oh, doll, I love you so much. Why don't we get married?" "Oh, I think that's a swell idea." And boom, they have a little marriage. It doesn't even matter where. You could do it in a barn. Just have a legally licensed person to marry you. You are now husband and wife. Congrats! No fanciness, no nothing. But then, I think it was K Jewelers that came along and said, if you don't buy her a ring, it's not official. And then, guess what? That's all that matters now. It's not the love. It's not the premise. And you gotta have a white dress. You gotta have a white dress. Wanna know why? Because back in the old days, white was very expensive. Because you couldn't afford to clean it. You couldn't afford to clean it because it got dirty so easily. So they wouldn't wear white wedding dresses to their wedding. But now, it represents purity. And it represents the virginity of the bride. When we all know the two have been porking for years. Premarital sex is just something that religion made up to make sure that, you know, religion makes up a lot of stuff. Like the fact that men cannot be effeminate in any sort of way. Fuck you! Males can be feminine. Okay? If you're a guy, you want to dress like a girl. If you are comfortable with your penis, be comfortable with your penis. If you want to dress like a girl, if you want to just paint your nails, if you like doing your hair, if you like putting on makeup, whether you're straight, gay, or anything in between, or anything outside it, you don't fucking listen to fuck religion. Fuck it all. And the rules are mostly made by Christian religions. they can just go fuck off even harder, you know? But all religion needs to just fuck off. It's like only a few religions seem to have it right, and it's not even really religion. Like Buddhism, they don't harm anybody with their religion. They don't. But pretty much all the other religions are harmful. Now, Judaism is a different thing because it's also considered a race, I believe. I don't know exactly how Judaism works. If anybody wants to clarify that for me, that would be great. But the only harm Judaism seems to be having is the fact that long time ago, a certain person didn't really like Jews so much. So that's the harm that was caused, is the fact that it came to be harming them. But they don't seem to be dangerous, do they? Their religion doesn't seem to oppress anybody, does it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I am very uneducated on Judaism. So, you know, but just fuck it. Fuck it all. Okay? And it's like all my long-ass rants, this has gone to multiple topics, and it's all just a roundabout way of saying, I hate sauerkraut. I don't know. I could go on about the racism thing. We should not have racism. That should have been gone a long time ago. We still have racism. And if we still have racism, we're still gonna have sexism. And if we still have sexism, we're still gonna have discrimination against people of different gender and people of different sexualities. Because there's only two genders. Oh my god. There are two sexes, guys. Sexes. Sex and gender are two different things. Alright? And just think about that. And since I'm attracted to any gender, I can go ahead and say that I like my men with long hair and I like my women with short hair. And my man has long hair. My man is grungy, alright? My man is a rocker. My man is learning how to play guitar. He has long hair that actually looks better when it's been a couple days since he's showered. My man wears wrestling shirts and nerdy shirts, and he wears a button-up plaid t-shirt open over his t-shirts, and he just looks like... he looks so grungy. He could be, you know, another Kurt Cobain. I don't know why I was thinking Curtis Axel. He's a wrestler. He looks like a shorter, more heavy-set Kurt Cobain. And his face, though, resembles more of, I don't know his real name, so I'm just gonna say Bray Wyatt / Husky Harris. Except, he's chubbier than Michael is. But my man is sexy as hell. And I hate beards, but his beard is okay because it doesn't get that long. I don't like long beards, and it's not because the scratchiness or anything. It's that I find long beards unattractive. But I mean, it's part of a man's hairstyle, whether they want a beard or not. His just doesn't grow long. He wishes it did, but I always say, I'm glad it doesn't. So, you know, I'm okay with his beard. He actually looks really weird without it. Before I gave him my clippers that I got from beauty school, if he made a mistake shaving his beard, he'd have to shave the whole thing off. And he would joke that he looked like a 15-year-old lesbian. The first time I saw him without his beard, I was like, something's different about you and I don't like it. So, you know, my best friend has a different preference in men. You know, women have different preferences in their men. Some women like their men with the short, neat hair, and the chiseled jaw, and the muscles, and has muscly back and really nice butt. I like girls' butts. I think that girls need to have a butt. I don't see why men need to have an oppressive butt, as long as the butt is providing them with enough cushion to support their spine. I could care less. I do like arms. Muscly arms are nice. Overly muscly arms are kind of scary. Michael's arms are nice. They're not quite muscly, but I don't have a problem with them. You know, and Senpai, she has a different taste in men than I do, so she personally believes that Mike is not attractive at all. I had gotten a comment on my channel that said, "Your boyfriend's ugly," and it's not really one of those things that can be an insult to me, because that's just a matter of opinion. Okay, so you think my boyfriend's ugly, and I think my boyfriend's sexy. So, but there's a better way you could say that, or not say it at all. It just goes to show that you have poor character, and I feel very sorry for anybody who has any interaction with you, my poor wayward son. Carry on my wayward son. Anyway. And you know, I've always had a taste in guys that resemble Michael. I've always liked guys around my same height, because tall guys scare the fuck out of me. Because Aaron wasn't the only one who abused me. And when you're a child, the ones who are taller than you and the ones that abuse you and are taller than you, you're gonna kind of have some fears of those people who are taller than you. Tall women actually freak me out too. I had a friend named Emma who was taller than me, but after, you know, knowing her, she was really the only tall girl that I could handle. She wasn't even that much taller than me. She was just tall. But like when you see the girls that are like skyscrapers, I'm like, don't hurt me. And for any man, no matter how gentle he is, if he's taller than me, I'm sitting here in fear that I cannot control. It's not just because he's a man, it's because all I see are these flashbacks. And that's another problem with having PTSD, is that you can't unlearn the trauma. You cannot get untraumatized. You know, some people say therapy works for PTSD victims, but ask anybody. Ask anybody who's been in a war and suffers from, you know, that's a very extreme case of PTSD. Ask them. Ask anybody who's been raped. Ask anybody who has been traumatized and suffers from it. If they say they got over it, most likely they're in denial. If they say they've accepted what happened, it doesn't necessarily mean they're over it. It means that they can handle talking about it, but they still have the nightmares, and they still have the flashbacks, and they still have the fears. Nothing gets rid of these things. It's a disorder. It affects your mind. It messes you up. It's an acquired disorder. You're not born with PTSD. But somebody fucks you up, or something fucks you up, you're fucked up. You're just fucked up. And I'm one of the lucky ones who is, just strong enough to not break my code of honor, of honesty, and drown myself in vices, like drugs and alcohol, 'cause that makes it worse. I hate people who make an excuse that, you know, oh, well, drinking helps me get over it. I'm like, no, it doesn't, you idiot! Alcohol is a depressant. It slows you down. Sometimes it makes you, giddy, and oh my god, it's so silly, and oh my god, you just have sex with somebody that later, when you realize that you had sex with them, you get a pregnancy scare, and you also get a scare because you're currently with somebody, but you, like, were so drunk you had no idea what you were doing. And then some people, like Erin and her many boyfriends, get really fucking angry when they're drunk, and they will hurt you, and they will hit you, they will scream at you, they will throw shit at you, they will stab you with forks. Wish I was kidding. And other people will drink and sit there and dwell on all of their problems, on all of the reasons why they're drinking in the first place. and they're just lost. And you know what? When you sober up, not only do you have a massive headache, not only are your eyes more sensitive to light, but your problems come right back to you. And you know, when you use these vices, these drugs, this substance that shouldn't exist, this alcohol, when you use that consistently, when you develop a problem, guess what? It adds more problems. Way more problems. You cannot run from your problems. You cannot temporarily escape from them. You have to face them. Otherwise, you just get more stressed, more miserable. And it doesn't make you feel better. It's a chemical that messes with your brain. It's just... I just love it when people say it's an escape. I'm just like, you want to know about my history? And do you want to know about my views on drugs and alcohol? And do you want to know why you're a pathetic piece of trash? Oh, I love it. I love it. No, I just sit here and go, no, just keep doing what you're doing. In fact, you know what? We should make every drug legal. We should make cocaine and heroin and meth, all that. We should make it all legal. 100% legal. Because you know what would happen? Because most of that shit is illegal, the price is nice and high, so people throw their money away because they gotta get their fix. Do you know why caffeinated beverages aren't that expensive? Because caffeine is a legal drug. Caffeine is extremely dangerous, and I know this from experience. I had to go to the hospital, and I can't have large amounts of caffeine ever again. The most I can have is about a chocolate bar. Yeah. I can't have caffeinated coffee. I can't have caffeinated tea. I can only have decaffeinated stuff, and even with decaffeinated coffee still has a high percentage of caffeine in it, so I can only have decaf coffee every so often. Caffeine is a highly addictive, very dangerous drug, and it's not regulated. And it's cheap. So if you make all these illegal drugs legal, the prices go down, they're easily available, and they'll do their damage. They'll do their damage. They'll get rid of these pieces of trash, they'll get rid of these sheep, they'll get rid of all of these pathetic losers who think they need it to be better people. They think they need it to be happy, they think they need it to enjoy Night Ranger and Pink Floyd, but you know what? I've zoned out on Pink Floyd without drugs. Because the music takes you away, but nothing takes you away like Tool. Tool is its own drug. Its own drug that has more positive effects than anything ever could. But you make this shit legal. And yeah, a lot of problems arise when you do it, but you know what? We need a cleansing. There's too many people on this planet, there are too many idiots on this planet, there are too many sheep. And Mama's gonna fix it all soon. Mama's come around to put it back the way it ought to be. We just gotta give her a little bit of a push. I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm not gonna do anything even if they're legal. I have my own drugs that are regulated by the FDA that are helping me, and I take the recommended dose, no matter if it's prescription or over-the-counter. That is medication. That is not drugs because I am not abusing it. I won't take more than more than 2 ibuprofen in a sitting. I will not exceed the number of ibuprofen you have to have in a 24-hour period because, yes, it causes harm and it is dangerous. Any legal and illegal drug causes harm. Now, I will admit, marijuana has never caused a death unless the person has been stupid during the time when they're high and they hurt themselves. But it alone as a drug has never caused a death. Alcohol has caused way more deaths. But that doesn't mean marijuana isn't wrong. Granted, a lot of things we learned in the past about marijuana were lies that were told to us knowing that they were lies, and they admitted later that they were lies. Dare taught me a lot of stuff, but it also was a bit of an over-dramatization. If you smoke weed before you're an adult, it's going to harm you. It's going to leave lasting damage. Is it going to kill you? No. Is it going to do much to you after you're an adult and your brain's done developing? Well, studies show, no, it doesn't. But you know what it does do? It makes you smell like a dead skunk, and it makes you really fucking stupid. It makes you unattractive, and I have my many reasons why marijuana should not be allowed to be readily available. If I had cancer and my doctor prescribed me medicinal marijuana, I would laugh in his face. And if he said it was the only thing that would take the pain away, then I'd say, kill me. I'm gonna die anyway, you're just slowing down the process. Fuck that! Fuck it. Fuck life. And thinking about death and wanting death to come is not a miserable desire. It's not from depression. Right now, I am on my beautiful medication that makes all the serotonin go right where it needs to be. It makes all of those unwanted chemicals calm down. It makes my emotions even. I never think about killing myself, and I never think about harming myself. I am good to go like a $5 hoe, even though I'd never be a $5 hoe. I sure can look like one if I wanted to because I'm ugly as shit. But the idea of death should not be taken fearfully. It should not be taken in a negative connotation because we are living in hell, and I have said this in one of my long ass rants that we have, most people have the blindfold over their eyes. The people who don't want to die, the people who are afraid of death, don't understand that it is not a curse. It is a cure. And people might say, Reitanna, if all these people are doing legal drugs and killing themselves and other people, isn't that tragic? One death is a tragedy. 1 million deaths is a statistic. We need this cleansing because people won't stop having babies. We're watching, we have to watch Bleach on a different website because Netflix only had the first 3 seasons. And I watched it a long time ago. I was watching it in Japanese, and I stopped at episode 210 because it was another fucking filler arc, and I was like, I can't handle this. But I told Mike about it, and he's really enjoying it. It's a good anime. I just don't like the filler arcs. Right now, we're in the middle of the bounce arc, and I'm just like, ugh. Anyway. But it has commercials. And then there's this commercial where a woman is putting up a pregnancy test and it says pregnant on it. And she goes, I'm pregnant! And there's all these people who are showing a positive pregnancy test and they're so excited. And Michael and I jumped for joy when we hugged and we said, we're not pregnant! Oh my god, we don't have to raise a child for 18 years! We don't have to waste our money on a fucking child! I just want to buy a pregnancy test and take it and show it to him and goes, I got a surprise for you! I'm still not pregnant! I think it was College Humor that did a commercial, a fake commercial of happiness by showing that the pregnancy test was negative. Oh, but not only that, pregnancy tests have to say pregnant now because before it said yes and no. Apparently that wasn't clear enough. And apparently it wasn't clear, it was clearer than a plus sign and a negative sign. Because plus means positive. And a negative sign means negative. And usually yes is also in a positive connotation, and no is a negative connotation, but no, that was not clear enough. Now they need to say pregnant or not pregnant. I wanted to say, bitch, you got knocked up and you're throwing your life away and now your life is ruined. Your life will change forever when you get pregnant because, well, now you got a child. Now you got something sucking up all your money, and now you got a little piece of bratness that you're gonna have to deal with through its childhood years, through its teenage years. Those teenage years, and even after that, even when they're 18 and they're gone out of the house, if you're lucky, if they're gone by the time they're 18, because they might still mooch off of you for a few more years, I tell you what. Even after they go out, they're gonna ask you for money. They're gonna ask you for a lot of shit. Oh, Mom, I can't, I'm in this bind. Can you get me out? Mom, I'm in jail. Can you help me out? Can you pay my bail, you know? And, if you're stupid and you die if the kid is stupid, which in our society is a very high probability of your child being stupid, probably because you're stupid. If you're a smart parent and you know that you're financially able and if you're emotionally capable to handle a kid, cool. 1 kid, 2 kids. Cool. You can handle it. You know you can handle it because you're smart. And you teach your kids right. Your kids end up smart. You know, they make good decisions. They can see something wrong and say it's wrong, you know? But if you're stupid enough to have a kid before you're ready, before you have enough money to do it, before you realize that it's gonna be an emotional roller coaster, even if you're not mentally ill, it's gonna take a hell of a lot out of you. And you're definitely gonna have a fever, and the only cure you would think would be cowbell, more cowbell, but you're gonna need a really big cowbell to cure that fever. Your kid's gonna be stupid. He or she's gonna end up in trouble. They're gonna kill themselves. And you're gonna be left with all of their debt. And if not, you're gonna die before them. They're gonna be left with all of their debt, and then they're gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and all this debt piles up, and all these stupid people are being born, and it's taking over the majority of the people who are smart and are sitting there not having kids and thinking to themselves, well, I don't want to bring a child into this fucked up world. Look at how fucked up it is. And it just keeps getting more fucked up. You should stop having babies. There's an Invader Zim episode, Walk of Doom, that in one part when he's boarding a bus, there's a poster on the wall that says, stop making babies. Want to know why? Because Jonan Vasquez is smart. Jonan Vasquez is so smart. I heard he's an asshole, but he is very, very smart. He understands. He puts all of his emotions through Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. He's an extremely intelligent person. And extremely intelligent people are pessimistic. Extremely intelligent people are often more depressed because they see the world. They don't have the blindfold. They see it. And I'm not saying starting a family is bad. I'm just saying it should be regulated. It should be regulated. Households, based on their income, should only be allowed to have a certain number of children. And yes, humans are animals, and we kill animals for both resources and for no goddamn fucking reason. So if we do that, don't you think it's fair? Don't you think it's fair that if our resources are running low, that we need to thin our numbers, that we should kill for a reason, that if a household is only allowed to have 1 or 2 children, that any more than that should be terminated before they have a chance to come out and fuck up the world? I am pro-abortion. I personally would not be able to do it because I heard it's painful. And unfortunately, that child would have to go to adoption. And I would pray that that child is not like me. Because some poor, unfortunate couple is going to adopt that child, and they are going to be sent to hell. But if you're gonna have a kid, okay, if you want a kid, adopt one. They may have come from a broken home. They may be a challenge. But if you're ready for a child, adopt one that already exists. One that's already been unfortunate to come into this world, to be abandoned for God knows what reason. Take that child in. If you are the happy, loving household, you gotta take a different child in. Don't get pregnant. Our planet is overrun with human beings. Overrun with idiots. Overrun with trash. Sheep who are ruining the planet. Who just keep making more babies. Who just keep bringing stupid people into this world. And who keep bringing, if they bring in smart kids, the kids who are brought into bad households, they will be broken. And they will be like me and countless others that wonder why they were brought into this world, why they deserve to be brought into abusive households, why they deserved all of this trauma that will never end, because it's wrong to kill somebody and it's wrong to kill yourself. It's cowardly to kill yourself. You know what? Suicide is not a cowardly decision as long as you've done everything in your power to survive. Because if you do it to run, yeah, that's cowardly. If you do it for freedom, because nothing else could free you, it is the strongest decision. It is the most brave decision you could possibly make. And in some cases, it's a smart decision. But it's taboo. It's taboo because, again, religion comes in and says, if you kill yourself, you're going to hell because it's a sin, yo. It's a sin. Well, you know what? Everything's a sin. Being imperfect is a sin. If a male is effeminate, it's a sin. Maybe a guy comes out and he's born looking a little more girly. Oh, that's a sin. It's a sin to love the gender that you are attracted to. The person you want to love, that's a sin. It's a sin for any woman to ever cut her hair, ever. Oh my God, I should pull up a list of all the sins. Maybe that's for another video. But altogether, the whole rant on children, that could be a separate video. Any of the off-topic things I've said could be a separate video. But when push comes to shove, these feminazis need to just get over it. They need to stop being bitchy little girls. And they need to stop the sexism. Feminism has a positive context, a something that sounds good on paper, just like communism, if you will. Now, it sounds great. Women have equal rights, the same amount of rights as men do. That's what feminism was supposed to be. But guess what? To you real feminists who do support what it was originally about, the radical feminists, the feminazis have come in and they've ruined that for you. They've ruined your word. They've ruined the word feminism. So whenever you say, I'm a feminist, people go, males go, oh, it's just like PETA ruined vegetarianism. How I say I'm a vegetarian and everyone around me goes, oh. You know what I support? I support equality between humans that deserve it. If you have relinquished your rights by dehumanizing somebody else, you do not deserve the same rights and privileges as the rest of us. Does it know gender? No. Does it know sexual preference? No. Does it know color of the skin? No. A person should only be judged by their actions and their actions alone. That is the only reason any one human being should be judged. I will call myself, and most of the good feminists out there have gone to taking a different term. They will say equality activist. of course, if they're active in trying to gain that equality. I am pro-equality, which means I'm not active in anything because I know there's no hope. I'm one of the smart ones who know that it's not going to make a difference, because guess what? Racism still exists, and if that's not gone by now, sexism isn't going away, okay? I am pro-equality, which means that I will stand by women who deserve it. I will stand by men who deserve it. Men and women should be equal. Men should play to their strengths. Women should play to their strengths. A woman should not be allowed custody of her child just because she said her husband hits the child. A woman should not be able to accuse a man of rape with no evidence. A woman should not be able to hit a man, but not receive retaliation from said man in defense. If a woman is holding this man hostage because she is a psychotic bitch and says, "You're not allowed to leave this house," and that man can't stand up, tell the woman to fuck off, and push her aside, yeah, our world is fucked up. We may say it's a male-dominated world, and in some countries that is very true. In some countries, women have no rights. Women cannot leave their houses without being escorted by a man. Women cannot show any bits of their body but their eyes, lips, and nose. Women could be killed for disobeying any of the laws that we would deem ridiculous in their culture. You feminazis need to look at the bigger picture. America does not need to help women anymore. We are fine. We're good. If you should be rising up against the opposite sex, if you should be rising up against males, maybe you should go to another country. Start a movement there. A country where it needs it. Because you're just making yourself look bitchy. You know, I'm bitchy. I am. I'm a woman and I'm bitchy, but I'm not. I'm not bitchy like you are. Like you free bleeders. And you're growing out of arm hair and it's gross. If you don't know what free bleeders are, these extremists, these feminazis who practice free bleeding, believe that they should not condemn their body to what it is naturally supposed to do, and that is that when we are on our period, when we're bleeding out of our vagina, when we are excreting the tissue, the discarded tissue from our uteruses, from the inner wall of our uterus, when we're just bleeding, and it's so gross, and it's chunky, and it smells, that we shouldn't hide it. We shouldn't stem the flow with maxi pads or tampons. No, we should just let it drip down our legs, make trails with it. We should show it to everybody. I have a period because I am a woman. Look at my bleeding vagina, you men. We give birth. We bear the pain. It's true. We do bear the pain of having a period every month, and we do bear the pain of childbirth when we decide to bear that pain, when we decide to get pregnant, when we decide not to terminate the baby before it's too late. But when you're bleeding, any rational woman knows that that is fucking gross. It is fucking disgusting. And yes, it should be hidden. It should be stemmed. for us rational women, we do not want it to happen. We basically bow down and do the Wayne's World "we are not worthy" thing to men just because they don't have to deal with the cramps, they don't have to deal with the disgustingness that our body decides to expel every month for punishment of not getting pregnant, not realizing that pregnancy is the punishment. No, we get punished for not having a baby, for not getting knocked up, for wanting financial stability. We get punished every month, and men don't have to deal with this. The ludicrousy is ludicrousy a word, the hilarity, the audacity. It's disgusting, and it's not just because of the smell or the sight. Free bleeders, if you let your vagina bleed out in the open, not only do those stains not come out unless you get it right away with cold water. Those stains don't come out, and it's unsanitary. It is unsanitary for you who is having the bleeding. It is unsanitary for anybody else who comes in contact with your blood that you have carelessly left on that McDonald's chair, on that toilet, or dripping down your leg into that grass where children play. And all of a sudden, "Mommy, I don't feel so well." Take him to the hospital. Your child is HIV positive. How did that happen? Dear, my sweet child, have you become blood brothers with one of your friends? Have you cut the palm of your hand and mixed blood with your friend who has also cut the palm of their hand? Have you done that? No, Mommy, that sounds dangerous. Have you had any physical encounters with anybody involving no pants? No, Mommy, that sounds like a grown-up thing to do. Well, where did the HIV come from? From some fucking free bleeder that decided it was okay to put their period everywhere, to just period all over the place, just like men's ejaculation, just period everywhere, just the biggest period, just get it everywhere. I envy men. I envy men because it is so easy to orgasm. It's right there. It's all right there. It's all right in plain sight. It's just rub one out. It feels nice. It feels great. It's relief. And it's messy. You know what women have to do? Well, first of all, we're not even sure if that spot exists. And even if it does, we don't know where it is. Apparently there are multiple spots. There are multiple spots that feel good, and when we hit that spot, we lose it immediately. And when we're trying to get that spot, when we're trying to get off, it hurts, because we are continuously rubbing, we're furiously going at it, trying to find that spot, and then when we get that spot, we don't want to lose it, so we're just going. It's like personal abuse at this point. It's self-mutilation. This is Reitanna's too much information moment. I have made myself bleed. I have torn myself open because it's a desperate. Or just getting off is very healthy for you, and it relieves stress. But for women, it's not easy. It is not. I am pretty sure that I have never had an orgasm. I get to this point where it's like relief, but it's like I could keep going, but my body can't do it by itself. And I'm pretty sure once I reach that point, that an orgasm is coming, no pun intended, but I can't do it myself. I needs my man. And even then, my man's not around for 40 hours a fucking week because of his soul, blood, and sweat and tears sucking job. No, men have it easy. Men have their spots. Men know where they are. Men know their sensitivities. And if you're uncircumcised, you have it even better. And you could just rub it out, and you feel good. Unless you're one of those people who have trained themselves to hold on to their ejaculation because they don't want to get pregnant. Poor Michael, poor Michael. I've tried. And I think during his vacation, I'm going to just focus some energy on him so that he can get a little bit of that physical stress relieved. But he was married once, and he had his wife was crazy. His wife was crazy, and they hadn't been seeing each other, long enough when they got married, and then she went off to the military. The military fucks you up. And plus, when you're a girl around some horny-ass guys who only resort to, hearing each other masturbate because they can't get any bit of privacy, that becomes a comfortable situation, by the way. Hey guys, can you just shut up for a minute? I gotta drain the lizard. Does that mean urinating? I think that means urinating. I gotta rub one out. Okay, I gotta release the beast. Oh no worries, dude, I'm doing it too, okay? No worries. And then the new guy's like, dude, that's gross. And they'll be all like, dude, you have no idea the torture you're about to endure. And if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I believe don't ask, don't tell is not in play anymore, so you can be openly gay in the American military. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, they're good. They can have sex if you got, a couple in the military. Maybe they don't have guys back home, and they end up forming a relationship with a guy who's, in their, I don't know, with their quadrant? I don't know military. They form a relationship, and they can get it on whenever they have some sad excuse for privacy. Maybe the other guys don't mind it. If they're open-minded, if you've got some homophobe in the military, you might as well shoot him in the fucking head! To quote the amazing man, the amazing God, the real God that exists on our earth. If you don't know his name, I feel so sorry for you. Anyway, aside from that. No, you got a girl with a bunch of horny guys. And let's face it, it's not a party when it's with your own hand. It's a little better when you've got a toy to aid you, but it is just not the same as when you got another person with you. And if you're open to polygamy, if you're open to orgies, cool. I bet that feels even better. I bet it does. And even with your partner, and you're playing with toys together, or you're doing stuff together. It's so much better than when you're alone. So yeah, that shit's gonna happen. And but she wanted a baby apparently, and Michael did not, because Michael is smart, and I'm so glad that I found a man who is not interested in starting any family that is past him and me and whatever pets we have, because our pets are our children. Our rats. Our little rats. When he wants guinea pigs later, he wants itty-bitty little guinea pigs. And we saw this cute little hamster at Petco, and I discovered that hamsters can brooks and boggle. They're just so cute. Anyway, yeah, so he had to basically train his body to not let go when it really needed to. And that has caused some problems. Before I had my toy, I was having trouble, getting myself to even that point where my body seems to not be able to go on any longer. So, but him, I just feel so fucking sorry for him. I say, do you masturbate when you're, in the other room at all? Do you do anything like that? He's like, no. You don't just take a time to just masturbate. No, I can't. Really, it's not really satisfying. Because, obviously if he was horny, he'd come after me, not his own hand. if for some reason I wasn't home, he's still just, it's like not pleasurable for him because he know it takes a long time to the point where he can't. He just can't. And he needs to. Anybody who thinks masturbation is wrong, it's because of religion. It's not. It is very healthy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Sex is healthy. But it's another thing. You can't abuse that, okay? So but still, being a man, he knows where those spots are, and being his woman, I know where those spots are. He and I are not comfortable with backdoor play, if you get my drift, but because of my male-on-male erotica writing, I do know that there is a spot, and yes, it is pleasurable. I am not interested in figuring out how it is pleasurable for females, but I know that it is pleasurable for males. But since he is not comfortable with that, and I personally am not comfortable with that, his spots are external. And they're easy to hit. And with most men, it's pretty standard. You hit those spots for a little bit and sploosh. No, women don't get that. And even though I'm comfortable being a female, sometimes I wish that my fictional elixir that can change your sex, the gender bend elixir, I wish that was real. Because the first thing I would do, if I was able to magically turn myself male for a short amount of time, the first thing I would do is jack off. The absolute first thing I would do. I would be so happy to be able to have a temporary male body, to not be female for a few hours. Maybe even take some more of the elixir and not be female for a few days. You know, as long as it's temporary, as long as I can go back, I would have no problem. Fuck yeah! Fuck it! Fuck it hard! But in many aspects, I envy men. I envy them because they don't have to give birth. They don't have to have a period. They don't have to struggle with sexual desire. They don't have to deal with the emotions that come with pregnancy and the period. Though they do have their own quote-unquote period where chemicals within their bodies are a little imbalanced, where they do have a moody time of the month. But they aren't leaking blood out of their asses or their urethra. It's disgusting, painful, and I often have to be bedridden if my cramps are just that bad enough, and summers... it's not even summer yet, and it's fucking hot outside, so a heating pad is so unbearably uncomfortable. And then when you sit on the toilet and you have to deal with that shit coming out of you, and I almost threw up one time. It's nasty, okay? And if you guys... If you're listening to this and you're saying, oh my god, that is so gross, Reitanna, shut up, because it is gross! And if you're a girl and you haven't had a period yet, for one, you shouldn't even be listening to this. You shouldn't even be watching my stuff. So most of you girls, most of you women's know what I'm talking about. And if there's any woman who says, oh, a period is beautiful, it's a sign of you becoming a woman, it's so beautiful. No, it's not. If a woman says a period is beautiful, she is off her fucking rocker. Because just no. It's not beautiful. It's not. It's disgusting. It's fucking gross. And the only way to stop it is to get pregnant. Oh my god, if Mother Nature stood before me right now, I would grab her by the throat and I would say, why couldn't you be Father Nature? You are a crazy bitch. And if you're so responsible, why haven't you gotten rid of the human race yet? Get on that shit, because I want to see it all go down. I want to see you flush it all down, motherfucker. God almighty. Oh man, I needed this, though. I needed this time to vent. And I'm sorry if sometimes I'm really quiet and sometimes I'm really loud. I compress this audio, but my microphone's good quality. On the downside, even if I put the sensitivity up to max, I can talk at normal volume and it'll still seem like it's really quiet. It's really quiet, and I can see it as I watch the sound waves go on my Audacity. But when I exclaim something, even if I'm this far away, the wave levels are really, really big. So I do what I can, and I'm sorry. I am obnoxious, and then I get to the serious voice where some people compare me to Bray Wyatt, and I take that as a compliment. Because he is an extraordinary character, and he is a character that, whatever his real name is, has invented himself. He writes his own stuff. He has creative freedom. And his character is amazing and is being underutilized. Finally, his character has started to come out with the whole Randy Orton thing, but I think the Randy Orton betraying Bray, that came too soon. I think that could've... Wrestling fans, how you doing? Anyway, I really should stop. I really should, I've got some work to be done. I'm hungry. And just, final statement. Feminazis, stop it. We need to end sexism. And that means getting rid of Women's History Month. Or adding a Men's History Month. Because men are a bigger part of history. Okay? Okay. End it. Just end it. Just take it all away. Stop celebrating large groups of people to make us seem even more segregated than we were before. History is called history for a reason. It's gone. It's gone. All that happened a long time ago. We should not feel ashamed for what other people did to other people. We should just let it go, and we will be that one step closer to peace. First, we have to let go of history. Then we have to let go of religion. Those two steps for if people want to survive, if people want to keep this race going, those are the two things that need to happen. But part of me doesn't want that to happen, so we die out quicker. Anyway, for those of you who enjoy my long-ass rants, please tell me which subtopic I went off on in this video that you would like me to expand on. Or if something else I've said has interested you and you want me to tell my views and expand on something else. If you want me to rant about something, you know, tell me in the comments what you want me to go off on. Because I go off, and I have other things that people have commented on my last long-ass rant that I said, yeah, that needs to be addressed. And it's a good relieving thing for me to sit here and just complain and get tons of things off my chest because I got no one to talk to for 40 hours a week. I'm gonna enjoy Michael's 2-week vacation because we are the type of couple that if we're in the same room, I'm on my computer, he's watching TV, or he's on his phone, that is hanging out. And I feel comfort if he's in the same room with me, if he's around. Even if we're not talking, even if we're not laughing together, doing something together, it is nice when we do stuff together. And, you know, and, we're just... I've never had somebody so perfect. And I could go off on things like that. I could go off on relationships if you want me to. I can go off failed relationships, how relationships fail, what you shouldn't do, what you should do, and what the smart things are to do, and just general advice. But that's up to you! Alright. Now, if you like it, leave a like. Subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell! And spread the word of awesome, become a Reitannite, and I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye!